Hello, my little Scoobians, and how are you all doing? I hope you're doing fantastically fabulous, and if you're not, well, maybe you should conjure a demon and, fix your shit. So today we're going to be talking about when I work with these entities, okay? And of course, I always have notes, but we only have one page of notes, so just calm your titties. One of the things that's really important to understand about working with demons, we've talked about relationships, we've talked about the various types of rankings, we've talked about the misconceptions that can in some instances be true, we've talked about at low level understanding of this particular text's interpretation of manifestation. We've talked about various different understandings of what demons are. I'm not here to try and persuade you or convince you to work with demons, because at the end of the day, you're going to work with whatever the you want to work with. Whether it's spirits, whether it's ancestors, gods, goddesses, whatever the you want to work with. I'm just here to share my understanding and my education, if you will, on working with these types of entities and what it's like to work with these types of entities from my opinion and my perspective and my own craft. So it is important to know that the notion of good and evil can be removed from the mind of the magician, and that magic least manifestation in regards to these entities be understood. So when we think about demons, what is the one thing that you think about? Ember, go. I can't hear you. Speak up, Ember. Speak up. Solitary, I did not say you could speak out of turn. Jesus Christ. This classroom is full of people speaking out of turn. Good and evil has no place when it comes to witchcraft. This isn't Hollywood fiction, this isn't TV, this isn't Charm, this isn't whatever movie you can think of. This is reality. It's not about, oh, I don't work with demons because they're evil and they're bad and they're horrible. It's about what tool do I have in my toolbox that will help with manifestation. For me, that's spirits, be they undead, spirits of the land, ancestors, whatever the case may be, and demons, as well as the Morrigan. When it comes to thinking about good and evil, just erase that, because there is no good and evil. Anything can be evil, and anything can be good. Doesn't really matter. One would be mistaken in believing that elaborate ceremonial magical practices must be used. While yes, they can, the sigil, the calling upon, the use of the end, the trance-like state can be used to bring forth the entities to do your bidding, but also to make pacts with them and form long-term, although not permanent, relationships with which are built off of more than one physical need or more and more of a spiritual need in the magical practice or the magician's practice. It's impossible for me to read my own writing half the time. So what does that mean? It means that unlike a relationship with the Morrigan or unlike a relationship with Hecate, it's not necessarily a long-term, forever kind of thing. And as most of you have probably noticed in your own craft, if you have a relationship with Hecate, 6 months later, you might have a relationship with a different god or goddess. And that's because your craft is evolving, and then and Hecate has fulfilled her needs, or not necessarily her needs, but fulfilled your needs. There we go. And she's done what she's come to do for you. The Morrigan will never leave me because she's got a lot of work ahead of her. But it's basically the relationship with demons is different than the relationships with most pagan gods or goddesses, because it's one built out of spiritual need. While they do play upon your desires for the physical and your desires for things that you may never end up achieving, and while they may like to play around with that and grant false promises, if you're working with them from a purely spiritual need, then they will achieve the things for you that you want. If you're just going to a demon like Clonic or Boone or anybody else and you're like, I want a Maserati, they'll play with you. They'll be like, yeah, you're so close, oh, you're almost there. You might actually achieve that Maserati. I'm not saying that they won't give it to you, but what are you giving up in order to achieve that? I mean, you could ask that of any spell or any relationship that you have. Demons really like to play off of the physical. They want to keep you coming back for more because they know that you will never be 110% satisfied. They know that you will never feel fulfilled. You'll get the Maserati, but now you want the wife. You'll get the wife, but now you want the house. And then you get the house, but now you want this. And then you get that, and then you want that. And it just keeps going and going. And that's what they love to feed off of. They love that kind of energy. The materialistic desire of the human race on such a filthy plane of existence. Now, when it comes to working with them for spiritual needs and finding fulfillment, you know, they're a lot more, that's where the relationships come in. That's where, you know, working with them long-term to achieve long-term goals is more important than trying to get short-term things out of them. When I call upon these entities, it is with great respect and reverence. It is with my will, my desire. I do not trap or demand. The spirit does what I demand, knowing that there is some traditions that do. I ask with courage and confidence in the sense that I do not fear them or allow them to control me, my mind or body. I do not allow them to pervert my thoughts, although their tests and trials do that to some extent in my workings with them. When you are working with them and they are putting you through their tests and trials, especially if it's a new demon, it's taxing. You have to be able to stand up to that, and you have to be able to push through that to get to them. It's essentially they put up a wall in front of you and say, if you can climb this wall, I'll work with you. Now, not all demons will test you or put you through trials, and maybe no demon at all will test you or put you through trials, depending on how you contact it, how you reach out to it. But from my experience in my craft, they have put me through tests, they have put me through trials. Some are easy, some are downright terrifying. Okay? So that's essentially how I work with these entities. I don't do the elaborate ceremonial magic ritual. I will say their ends. I will have their sigil. I will have a candle of some sort. I will have their incense going. I will be situated in the appropriate direction that I need to call them. If they're a daytime specific demon, I will contact them during the day. If they're a nighttime specific demon, I will contact them at night. It's not rocket science. It's just like contacting any other spirit, except you don't want to be contacting them here on the physical plane. Because when you start contacting them here on the physical plane, their energy shows up. And their energy will linger. Even if you properly banish the energy at the end of the day or cleanse the space, their energy will still linger. You want to contact them, in my opinion, from my craft and my experiences on the astral plane. You also don't want to f around with them. This isn't a toy, this isn't a Ouija board. This can get dangerous. Because if you don't know what you're doing and you're just reaching out to a demon because you think, oh, the Witchy show reached out to a demon, oh, the Witchy show works with a demon, oh, the Witchy show this, the Witchy show that, it can f with you. Just because I work with these demons and build relationships with them doesn't mean it's for everybody. You have to be able to do your research. You have to be able to know what it is you're walking into. That can be said of any pagan god or goddess or spirit or anything. If you don't know what you're doing and you're reaching out to Hecate, or you don't know what you're doing and you're reaching out to some other god or goddess, you're going to potentially get into trouble. You're going to invite something into your space that you don't want. Okay? So until next time, my fabulous little creatures.